It's a new year and a new week of WWE television. And the first week of the year, seemingly, you would think that there is a rejuvenated sense to the product. You would hope. With the new year coming and, people so big on change, even though it's nothing more than a mere rollover of the calendar year. It's just a new day, a new month. If you want to make real change, change should have been done before that. You don't need a day or an occasion to signify change in a sport or your personal life, etc., etc. We all hope that with the mentality that is in today's general society, that when we begin the first of the year, in the first month of the beginning of the year, the first day, that change is there. WWE did nothing to change anything. In fact, it was the same bullshit, the same formulaic garbage that we see week in and week out. Monday Night Raw proved to be no different than the last Monday Night Raw of the year. They do it for Roman. It's becoming more evident week by week. It's going to become more evident as we get closer to WrestleMania. They do it for Roman. And I've been very vocal about taking the title off of Roman. The IC title, that is. I don't think Roman needs the Intercontinental Championship for any reason at all. Yes, he's a big name. Yes, he's defending the title more so than he did the United States Championship. And it might seem like he's a fighting champion to you, or a baby face fighting champion. But underneath all of that stuff, we want to believe he's doing good for the title. There's a hidden agenda there. And the hidden agenda is, we really don't give a shit about the Intercontinental title. We're going to put it on Roman Reigns because it is the second biggest title in the company. And it's going to make him look more important. And we're going to set up for a colossal matchup in the main event of WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, champion versus champion. See, that's WWE's hidden agenda behind all of it. What the normal idiots who are watching the product see, they see Roman Reigns carrying a shiny gold belt. What I see, and what the smart people see, is WWE's blatantly out in the obvious open hidden agenda. And if you are a individual watching this product with a brain, you would be on our side of the fence. You'd be on our team instead of being a humanoid, to quote the great Bob the Brain Heenan. So WWE could have seemingly took the title off of Roman Reigns and did the right thing and reward somebody who has just been as good, if not better, than Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. They didn't do that. They had an easy out to do that. They didn't do that. They could have put the title on a great heel. And they didn't do that. Could have lined them up with opponents in Finn Balor and a returning Jeff Hardy, a Matt Hardy, There's guys there for Roman Reigns, to drop the title to, yet WWE doesn't do it. Joe would have been the perfect guy. And being that Braun Strowman is not going to win the Universal Championship, even though there are some posters going around or some advertisements going around for the leaked Elimination Chamber main event, having Braun Strowman as the Universal Champion, no. WWE will not take that belt off Brock Lesnar and jeopardize this far in the game their main event for WrestleMania. It would be stupid. It would be stupid. You really think they're going to put the title on Braun Strowman at the Royal Rumble with this fake advertisement that's going around? Why would they do that? Why would you want that to happen? I question every one of you. Why would you want that to happen? You do know what that means, right? If Braun Strowman wins the Universal Championship and he goes into the chamber as champion, only to drop it right back to Brock Lesnar in the chamber, then that doesn't leave any room for Roman Reigns to win the Elimination Chamber. That means WWE has Roman Reigns set up to win the Royal Rumble, and you know you don't want that. Why would you want that? It's fake. That's why I said drop it to Joe. Drop the Intercontinental title to Joe, and then Joe can defend it against a newly crowned babyface in Braun Strowman. There's an idea. What a match that would be for WrestleMania, but we're going to go with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the champion versus champion mentality. And if you heard that, it's my cat rummaging around in her litter box, of course. Always disrupting my my recording with shitting on the floor or peeing on the floor or doing something. Meow, 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 yeah. So that was that on Monday Night Raw. Really nothing else outside that. That was the big going thing on Monday Night Raw. Tuesday night on SmackDown, we seen a quote-unquote title change that was reversed due to some fuckery in the opening match of SmackDown Live. Still don't know why they did it. I think they just wanted to tease the fans and kind of bring the American Standard team of Benjamin and Gable close to the title without actually having them win it after they've pushed them so hard. They made the right decision in the end. Usos should be the tag team champions. Usos are the tag team champions. Just going to leave it at that. If you are the best at what you do on your brand, in your division, you should be champion. You should be champion. Samoa Joe. The main thing on SmackDown was what I am going to call right now bizarre booking of the WWE Championship situation. I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know how long they want to go with this KO and Sami Zayn friendship thing. But the only thing that could come out of this is two situations. One, they try to one-up each other so badly over winning the WWE Championship, it leads to them breaking up and them feuding at WrestleMania. In a match at WrestleMania. Leaving the door open for AJ to defend the title against who he should be defending the title against, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura. The other thing is there'll be some fuckery going on, and, Daniel Bryan will feel bad about all of this, and there'll be some fuckery to happen in the match, costing KO and Sami Zayn the win, giving AJ Styles the win. Through weeks and weeks of storyline, KO and Sami Zayn turn against Daniel Bryan, and Shane McMahon will be standing there saying, I told you so. I didn't want to say it, but I told you so. Leading to Daniel Bryan coming back at WrestleMania in a tag team role to limit what he can do so WWE can clear him just to use his name as more star power to WrestleMania's bill. Those are the only two things that I could see happening here. And there is news on Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan said that he will have a definitive answer of whether he is cleared or not by WrestleMania. He has stated this in interviews as of this week. So we don't know what is going on. That was my first thought, that WWE was going to put Daniel Bryan in a tag team situation with Shane McMahon against KO and Sami Zayn. The other thing I was thinking about this week after the show went off the air was maybe Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they start to break away because now they're starting to feud over the WWE Championship, and that starts to break them away, and they feud at WrestleMania. I don't want to see that match again, but seeing it at WrestleMania might kind of put it on a grander stage where they can do more and give us the match that I know those two can give us. They've had some battles in the past, and WWE's kind of threw it away on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live here and there. Overkill. But if they put them at WrestleMania in a big match and give them the time allotted to just kind of steal the show, I think it could be good. I would like to see it for the WWE Championship, with Sami turning babyface and overcoming the betrayal of his friend. That would be the ultimate storyline here, but it's not the time for it. It's not the time for it. And this is where WWE fucked up. This is where WWE fucked up. I'm not going to blame them, but WWE could have went one of two ways here. They could have stayed the course and done what they've done here. You know, this is the outcome that we're getting. Or Kevin Owens could have been the WWE champion, and we could have gotten Sami Zayn to win the Royal Rumble in this whole betrayal storyline. You know, KO was the WWE champion. Sami Zayn is there as his best friend, and Sami Zayn's kind of breaking away from the spell of Kevin Owens. He enters the Royal Rumble, and it comes down to Sami Zayn winning the Royal Rumble. He's like one of the final four, and Kevin Owens doesn't want him to win it because he don't want to fight his best friend. But, you know, really, Kevin Owens is saying that because, you know, he finds Sami Zayn to be a threat, not because he's his best friend. If he's his best friend, he wants the best for his best friend. But more so that he finds Sami Zayn to be a threat. Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble. We get KO and Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn gets his big babyface breakout, wins the title. We still get AJ versus Shinsuke in a number one contenders match because they're two of the best on the brand, and the winner of that fights the winner of KO and Sami Zayn. You know, and you have those guys, you have those four guys just battle it out over the WWE Championship on SmackDown Live in 2018. You want to throw Bobby Roode in there as a fifth guy? So be it. You know, those are just the ideas swimming through my head right now. WWE could have avoided so much terrible story if they just opted to take the title of Jinder when it was recommended to, which would have been never to give him the title. But they kept the title on him, and, you know, it was 7 months of pure hell, pure torment, and the entire brand and all storylines, whether you want to admit it or not, I don't give a shit who you are, it did. Him being champion ruined that brand for half of the year. Half of the year, that brand was garbage. It's been garbage all year, but those 7 months of Jinder ruined everything, top to bottom. Top to bottom. I don't give a shit who you are. You could talk to me until you're blue in the face. You ain't going to change my opinion on Jinder Mahal and the damage he did to the WWE Championship and SmackDown Live. NXT didn't have anything this week, but I'm hearing they did tape from Atlanta, Georgia. Takeover is all set. Should be monster. I'm hearing Alistair Black versus Adam Cole is set for Takeover Philadelphia, but it was nothing more than a highlight show, so there really isn't anything on the NXT front to report of. So I'm going to leave it at that. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to go over my top 10 matches because it's long overdue. First off the script of the new year, we're going to talk about the top 10 matches, in my honest opinion, for WWE in 2017. Some of which you might agree with, some of which you might not agree with. And I don't really give a shit. Because any of these matches that I'm going to go over with you, you're going to go back and watch, and you're going to realize, and you're going to say to yourself, you know what, I know why JD put this on there. I could see why. Everything on this list has a reason. So we're going to go over that today on episode 203 of Off the Script for January 5th, 2018. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Let's do the introduction, and let's talk about this top 10 for 2017 right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel this afternoon. It is Friday, January 5th, 2018. This is Off the Script, episode 203, part number 1, and we are going to discuss today the top 10 matches, as chosen by me, of course, for 2017 in WWE only, okay? We are also going to go over the survey that I let everybody fill out that was pinned at the top of my Twitter wall. We're going to go over all the results for the Off the Script Viewer Choice Awards of 2017, and pretty straightforward, man. A lot of you guys voted, and I'm going to reveal the answers to all of my questions in the Off the Script year-end awards here for the first episode of 2018. Almost 1,500 responses. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to fill out my useless and unimportant survey. But we're going to go over that today as well. All the news will be shared for this week on tomorrow and Sunday's video. So there is news this weekend. Not much, being that WWE is probably quivering in their boots right now after New Japan Pro Wrestling put on Wrestle Kingdom 12. I did watch it, by the way, for everybody asking me. Yes, I did watch it. I didn't watch it all in one sitting. I didn't watch it live at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the East Coast. With the snowstorm that happened last night and yesterday afternoon, it was absolutely miserable. And I had to monitor my car. I wanted to make sure that they didn't plow me in. So I was out there dropping hot water and shoveling and wiping the car off best I could throughout the day. 50-mile-an-hour winds blowing in my face. Had to get at least 10 inches of snow. They said 1 to 3 or 3 to 6. It ended up being 10 inches. The heater in my apartment was frozen. I had to take care of that just to ensure that I have heat here because it was below freezing temperatures with the wind chill. So in between all that, I tried to watch Wrestle Kingdom in pieces. And what I did watch, I enjoyed very much. I will be talking about the Jericho and the Kenny Omega match. I will be talking about that incredible Fatal 4-Way with Will Ospreay. I'll be talking about that great tag team match with the Young Bucks. The only thing that I have to watch, and it's a laborious task, I know, because there's like over an hour left of the show. I got to sit through Okada and Naito, and just as Naito and Okada made their entrances, I got it saved here on my computer. There's literally an hour left of the show. I don't know how Okada does it. I know who won the match because of assholes on Twitter. Not that I'm surprised by the outcome, but I'm just dreading the fact of sitting here for an hour watching a match that I really don't know, anything of, except that Naito won the G1 Classic, and he gets a title shot at Wrestle Kingdom 12. And all I know is that he dreamed of being a pro wrestler and wrestling in New Japan and wrestling in the Tokyo Dome and wearing a championship belt. Why they didn't put the championship on Naito, I don't know. But we'll talk about all that, and I'll talk about my my opinion on the overall presentation of the show. But what I did watch was something that WWE really needs to be mindful of. WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It's sports entertainment, right? But Wrestle Kingdom 12 was filled with in-your-face, I don't give a fuck, we are going to present professional wrestling, and this is what you get. And that's exactly what they did. And it ended up being a great show from top to bottom. That Cody Rhodes match, I don't want to forget about that. The Cody Rhodes versus Kota Ibushi match was fucking fantastic. Why WWE isn't doing what is in right now, I don't know. Why we're getting what we're getting on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live, I don't know. It's like, Wrestle Kingdom did nothing to make it seem like it was the greatest event of all time. They just presented it and people react. There was no overwhelming, shove down your throat bullshit from the commentators. There was nothing to make it seem like it was like the greatest fucking event on the history of the earth. They had their fireworks and they had their each specific character had their entrance. We'll talk about it. I don't want to get into it here, but Jericho's entrance was great. Omega's entrance was great. Fucking Marty Scurll's entrance was fucking fantastic. Cody's entrance was great. Everything about it I really enjoyed. There was probably one match I really didn't care for, which was that hair versus hair match. Didn't give a shit about it. Just didn't care. I think that was the Never Open Championship. Didn't give a shit about that. I didn't give a shit about the that 6-man gauntlet match. Didn't give a shit about that match either. But they weren't bad matches. I just didn't give a shit about them. And that's just the way I am. But overall, the event was great. I got all my notes here. We're going to go over it. I'll probably do a review when I finish watching the Naito-Okada match. I'll probably get that up tomorrow at some point. So I just want to let you guys know that it is coming, a full show review for those that have asked, okay? We will be having a new sponsor join us this weekend on Off the Script, Harry's. the shave experts, Harry's. You know, they deal in the shaving cream and the razors and all that stuff. They are officially on board. I filled out the paperwork as of this morning. Waiting for a conference call with some representatives over there, and we're going to talk about how we're going to go about it, but it will be implemented for the entire month of January, so if you get sick of me saying it, just listen to me. You're going to get some free shit out of it, man. You're going to be supporting the podcast as well. So Harry's Razors is joining the Off the Script family for the month of January. Thank you guys so much for that. I want you guys to follow me on Twitter, even though I've been silent on there for the most part. Really don't give a shit about anything right now. At JDFROMNY206. Make sure you guys follow me on there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're doing good numbers on YouTube, man. I've been pretty much taking it easy this week for several different reasons, and we are almost at 86,200. So the growth is nice. Hopefully we can get to close to 87 by the Rumble. I'd love that. You know, so let's keep that going. I don't know if I'm able to announce it yet here, but I'm looking at the questions that Adam Pacitti sent me. I am going to be working with Cultaholic. I am going to be taking part in their 20-week series to get everybody involved in the YWC. Adam Pacitti reached out to me personally, and I thank him for the opportunity. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to say anything yet, but they did kind of announce they were going to be working with several figures in the YWC, so I am one of them. It's going to be a interactive Q&A type deal. I don't know who else has been asked. All I know is that I've been asked, and I got to finish up getting him all the material by Monday, but I will be featured on Cultaholic's channel. Great guys over there, Ross and Jack the Jobber and Adam Pacitti. They're all doing a great job over there. It's as if they never left What Culture. So I still watch What Culture because I do enjoy Simon Miller's delivery and presentation and the way he just kind of is himself. Says some outlandish things from time to time that I don't agree with, and ups and downs, this and that, you know, all that nonsense. But, you know, he's a good guy. He does his thing over there. But I will be working with Cultaholic in the month of January, so look forward to that for those that have asked. Very excited about that opportunity, and hopefully it gets me closer to 100,000 subscribers and that silver play button that I've been working my ass off for. So look forward to that. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, hit that bell, turn on all notifications, and our usual sponsors, you know, Audible still here, audibletrial.com/offthescript, free audiobook. Let's start the month of January off right. All new listeners get a free audiobook just for signing up, man. You don't even need to keep it. You can cancel it as soon as you sign up, but you're supporting the podcast by doing so. audibletrial.com/offthescript. If you guys love audiobooks or you want something to keep your mind busy, you guys can go over there and get something for free for doing absolutely nothing. So make sure you guys support Audible. They've been a great friend of the show. Patreon's always there if you guys want to pledge. Patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. Thank you guys for pledging throughout the week. Greatly appreciate it. And barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your t-shirts. Make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts. I would greatly appreciate it. I got a Roman Reigns design coming. They do it for Roman. I got the idea in my head. I just got to translate it to Connor. He's going to do it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll have a new JD is Negan shirt as well up on the shop. So that is that. Thank you guys for listening to my bullshit. Let's get into this top 10, man. I want to start off with... actually, you know what? We're going to start off with the... because this will be quicker, so I can save more time for my top 10. Let's get into the off-the-script year-end awards here, as chosen by the viewers. Now, we did Wrestler of the Year. This was the first question that I posed to everybody. Out of 1,451 responses, Wrestler of the Year came down to Kenny Omega, who had a great year, self-explanatory, AJ Styles, Kazuchika Okada, Braun Strowman, Cody Rhodes, Ricochet, or Johnny Mundo. Now, Ricochet and Johnny Mundo, or Prince Puma and Johnny Mundo, they battled it out over the Lucha Underground Championship, and that was a epic climax to the end of Season 3. But the winner here, overwhelmingly, and I really can't disagree with everybody who voted. AJ Styles won with about 55% of the votes over Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega only had about 20% or so. The rest went to Braun Strowman and Kazuchika Okada. Braun Strowman came in number 3, Okada number 4. But AJ Styles won Wrestler of the Year to you guys in the Off the Script year-end awards, and it's tough to disagree. AJ Styles is the most important thing on WWE television right now, and I think it's safe to say, I don't want to jinx anybody, but I think it's safe to say that AJ Styles is going into WrestleMania as the WWE Champion, and I hope WWE wants to one-up Wrestle Kingdom this year. Nakamura and Styles is the way to do it. Feud of the Year. This is one that was pretty difficult. I made this one pretty difficult for you guys. Out of 1451 who voted, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, Alistair Black versus the Velveteen Dream, the Usos versus the New Day, Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose versus The Bar. And with 34% of the votes, just getting by the Usos and the New Day barely. Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada with 34% of the votes win Feud of the Year in the Off the Script Viewer Choice Awards. Usos and New Day had 31% of the votes, and in a distant third, it was Alistair Black versus the Velveteen Dream with 15%. That Usos New Day feud was really the only thing that SmackDown had going for it in all of 2017. There was nothing else on that show. You know, AJ Styles wasn't even a dominant force as the United States Champion. Kevin Owens was a joke, right? They were just starting to build Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. That Usos New Day feud literally was the only thing to look forward to on SmackDown Live. And they hit a grand slam every single time. Alistair Black versus the Velveteen Dream, as simple can be. You don't need overwhelming, overbearing storyline that drag out week after week after week to tell a good story. That is as simple as can be, and it ended up being a beautiful thing for NXT. Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, listen, I mean, when you put on the matches that those guys put on all year, you know, it's tough to disagree with what they had going on. So, should have resulted in Kenny Omega at least winning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. They gifted him the IWGP United States Championship as a consolation prize for how great he is. He may very well be the best wrestler in the world after what we've seen on Thursday night. But Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada win Feud of the Year in the Off the Script Viewer Choice Awards. Best Female Wrestler of the Year. Out of 1451 who voted, the choices were Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Ember Moon, and Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross actually got more votes than Charlotte in this voting. 5% for Nikki Cross. Charlotte only got 4%, with a resounding 71% of the vote. I don't need to tell you who it is, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You should know who it is already. The Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, wins with 71% of the vote. In a very distant second, Alexa Bliss with 17% of the vote. Why I didn't put Sasha Banks on there? It's because Sasha Banks didn't do shit this year. People asking me, JD, where's Sasha Banks? She don't need to be on the poll. She didn't do anything this year. WWE killed her momentum at seemingly every opportunity that they had. You know, she may have very well been the best female wrestler on the roster coming out of WrestleMania, and I admit that. I'm not afraid to say it. But what has WWE done with her? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Alexa Bliss has seen her day. I am dead fucking bored of Alexa Bliss. I really am. And there's news on Alexa Bliss and Asuka that they might actually be taking the title off Alexa Bliss and giving it to Asuka before the Royal Rumble. Probably setting up Paige to win the Royal Rumble, the female Royal Rumble, that is. But Asuka, I mean, with what she did in NXT and then coming over to the main roster and still being dominant, you know, WWE kind of had a few hiccups with Asuka in the beginning, putting her through those matches with Emma, right? Those competitive matches with Emma, and ultimately she got released. What was the point of giving me competitive matches if you knew Emma was going to be released short after that? It made no sense. So whoever called that audible, whoever made those plans was a complete fucking idiot. So I don't know what happened there. But WWE righted the ship, and they're getting Asuka into dominant territory. If Asuka doesn't win the title at any point during the next couple weeks before the Royal Rumble, she should be booked to win the Royal Rumble. No doubt about it. Best Tag Team of the Year. Out of 1451, the Usos, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, The Bar, The New Day, the Authors of Pain, the Hardys, and the Young Bucks. This one was a blow away. 83% of the votes. The Usos win Tag Team of the Year. The Hardys got 0. The Authors of Pain got 0. The New Day and the Bar and Seth Rollins got 1%. The other percent went to the Young Bucks at 13%. And I absolutely agree with everybody. The Usos, ever since coming out of that babyface cringe garbage that they were in with the face paint and this just colorful, strands and outfits and the pandering to the kids, they've turned it up a notch. They let their fucking real personas come out. They're actually wrestling. They're the best at what they do. They may very well be the best tag team in the entire world. That's how great they are. And when they cut a promo, the intensity of when they speak, it just resonates with everybody, man. And it makes everything seem that much more important. Whoever's behind the drive of the Usos heel turn, congratulations. You just took one of the most boring tag teams in all of WWE into the best tag team probably in the entire world. Great shit. Usos, without question, the tag team of the year. Worst pay-per-view of the year. The choices were out of 1451, WrestleMania 33. Yes, I put it on there because it wasn't really that good. I don't give a shit how teary-eyed you got with The Undertaker, or I don't give a shit how much you pop for the Hardys. Nostalgia pops and a fake retirement isn't going to get me to vote WrestleMania 33 as a thumbs-up show, because it wasn't. Best match on the show was between AJ Styles, who may very well be the best wrestler in the world, and a non-wrestler in Shane McMahon. If that is the case, that is not the pay-per-view of the year. Or that doesn't make a good pay-per-view. Extreme Rules, SummerSlam, Fastlane, and the one that everybody voted as worst pay-per-view of the year with 61% of the votes, Battleground. Do I need to go over what happened at Battleground? Great Khali, Punjabi cringe, right? Mahal champion. I think I'll leave everybody in a good mood here. I don't want to go over that, please. Second place, if you guys are wondering, Fastlane with 14% of the votes. Third place was WrestleMania 33 with 9% of the votes. Breakout Star of the Year. I made this one a little hard, but still, there was one resounding favorite from everybody. Breakout Star of the Year, voted on by 1451, Braun Strowman, Alistair Black, Pete Dunne, Andrade Cien Almas, the Velveteen Dream, Elias, and Jason Jordan. With a resounding 51% of the votes, Braun Strowman wins Breakout Star of the Year. And you can't really overlook what he's done this year, man. That feud with Roman Reigns just took him to new heights. Got to give Roman credit where credit is due. I don't hate the man. Never said I hated the man. I just hate the way he's booked. But the feud with Roman Reigns elevated Braun Strowman to where he is today, no question. The intensity that Braun Strowman has showcased as the true monster on Monday Night Raw and in the WWE has been booked perfectly. It's the one breakout thing. It's the one shining star in WWE's years, the way they handled Braun Strowman. There was a little hiccup with Braun Strowman. He should have won the title at No Mercy, or Joe should have won the title at Great Balls of Fire. But overall, the way that WWE's handled Braun Strowman in 2017 has been nothing short of fucking unbelievable. Alistair Black is a choice I thought was going to win this because he to NXT, or him to NXT, has been absolutely fantastic. He is a must-see guy. He's got that look about him. He commands attention. He's got a great entrance, a great theme. He's great in the ring. People love his shtick. People are already calling him the modern-day Undertaker without all the theatrics and whatnot, you know, being the dead man. And obviously, you can't really correlate Alistair Black to the Undertaker with the gimmick, because the Undertaker had the best gimmick in the world, impervious to fucking everything, right? He's the dead man. He sits up from everything. He feels no pain. But Alistair Black and how important he was to NXT, you know, he got 14% of the votes. He was a second-place winner, tied with the Velveteen Dream. Patrick Clark seemingly came out of nowhere, and the reason why the Velveteen Dream is so great is because when you live the gimmick that you're playing, and you really deep down dig into your soul to just portray a character and get it across on TV, that's what the Velveteen Dream did. That's what Patrick Clark did, and people took notice of that. I mean, he was even getting cheered. He was getting cheered, and Alistair Black was being booed in their match at Wargames. You know? He's great, and he's only 23. The ceiling for him, unreal. Pete Dunne has been great. Andrade winning the title and seemingly coming out of nowhere and coming from nothing and being booked into obscurity to win the title from Drew McIntyre. He was on there. He got 7% of the votes. Elias has done great on Monday Night Raw. He got 6% of the votes, and Jason Jordan got a lowly 1% of the votes. He is just not there yet. Biggest disappointment of the year. I kept this very short. Finn Balor, Jason Jordan, Ty Dillinger, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler with a resounding 44% of the votes. Finn Balor won biggest disappointment of the year. And can you blame anybody for voting for Finn Balor? How WWE has taken him and made him the first Universal Champion, to having him come back the night after WrestleMania and doing absolutely nothing with him. WWE had already moved on from Finn Balor. They had no plans to give him a rematch for the Universal Championship, because as soon as they put that belt on Goldberg, for Goldberg to drop it to Brock Lesnar, it was over. Finn Balor floated in a sea of obscurity. And the only thing that can save Finn Balor now is a heel turn and aligning himself permanently with Gallows and Anderson, because they can feed off him and a heel turn and them becoming a dominating stable with potential to add more members would probably do everybody good. And I think we need more stables on WWE television. Stables that really make a fucking statement. Like, I don't mean just add members for the sake of adding members, but what happened to the days of a group of guys just banding together and just overtaking a fucking show? That's what I want to see. Ty Dillinger was a second place winner here with 27% of the votes. Jason Jordan with 17%. Bobby Roode with 10%. And Dolph Ziggler with 1%. I'm surprised at that. I guess just people are so dead to Dolph Ziggler right now, they just can't wait for him to leave the WWE. But Finn Balor is definitely the biggest disappointment of the year. You know, that feud with Bray Wyatt did not help anybody. And him fighting the Miz Taraj week after week after week. They have taken Finn Balor from the heights of importance to nobody giving a shit about him at all. Vince McMahon probably finds value in the demon gimmick, but how many times can you do that before it is overkill and ruined? You know? So when Vince sees the demon, he sees money. When Vince sees leather jacket wearing underwear model Finn Balor, who wants to show his crotch with that signature Kevin Dunn shot, right, as he makes his entrance, nobody gives a shit about that Finn Balor. Best pay-per-view of the year. Kept this one very short because there really wasn't many choices to go on. Survivor Series, Great Balls of Fire, the Elimination Chamber, and the Royal Rumble. This one was easy. Elimination Chamber was definitely the best pay-per-view of the year for WWE. They had that great Chamber match with Styles and Cena and Wyatt, Miz, Corbin, and Ambrose. Great. They redid the cell. They redid the structure or whatever. They redid the chamber. They made it look a little bit more modern. The Royal Rumble was a decent pay-per-view, but I did rant on it a little bit more than I wanted to because of Roman Reigns coming out at number 30. Roman Reigns did really have a great match at the Royal Rumble against Kevin Owens for the Universal Championship. You know, you can't really fault him there. Survivor Series was second place here with 23% of the votes. But Elimination Chamber wins with almost 50% of the votes here for best pay-per-view of the year. Also on that pay-per-view, Elimination Chamber, Randy Orton and Luke Harper had a damn good fucking match. Probably Randy Orton's best match all year. And that includes a year where he fought Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown Live. Go back and watch that Luke Harper, Randy Orton match. Great damn match. And you'll wonder why, and question yourself why WWE didn't do more with Luke Harper in that moment. I don't know. Just don't get it. Shocking moment of the year. This is a fucking close one. I thought one was going to run away with it, but this was a close one. Jinder Mahal winning the WWE Championship. Tommaso Ciampa turning on Johnny Gargano. Kurt Angle returns to join the Shield. Braun Strowman throws Roman Reigns off a loading dock. Chris Jericho goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Emma released from WWE. The Hardys return at WrestleMania. And Andrade Cien Almas winning the NXT Championship in shocking fashion from Drew McIntyre at Wargames. This was a close one, man, but with 31% of the votes, Chris Jericho going to New Japan Pro Wrestling to wrestle Kenny Omega is the shocking moment of the year as voted on by you guys. The Hardys coming in at number 2, returning at WrestleMania. One of the biggest pops I have ever seen for WWE was when the Hardys came back. I know everybody was disappointed that Matt didn't come out as broken Matt Hardy. He kind of dipped in and out of the delete. But everybody loves seeing Jeff back. And obviously with them coming back and giving the fans a WrestleMania moment, the right call was to give the Hardys the Tag Team Championship. So that came in at number 2. Number 3 was Jinder Mahal winning the WWE Championship. I thought this was actually going to top the list here for shocking moment of the year. But this came in third. You guys thought Jericho wrestling Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12 going to New Japan was the shocking moment of the year. Jericho at his age, man, what is he, 47, 48 years old, the match that he had with Omega? He even tweeted out, that's how you do it, kids. That's how you do it. And we'll talk about that more when I cover the Wrestle Kingdom 12 pay-per-view. But I was shocked by that, man. I thought Jinder Mahal winning the WWE title was legitimately the shocking moment of the year. Tommaso Ciampa turning on Johnny Gargano was shocking, but when you go back and watch it, it's just fucking cool to see someone so enraged to turn on his tag team partner like that. I love it. Can't wait to see what story they tell going into 2018. Kurt Angle only got 1% of the votes returning to Team with the Shield. You guys weren't shocked at that by that at all. Braun Strowman throwing Roman Reigns off a loading dock on Raw was fucking hilarious. That got 1%. Andrade Cien Almas winning the NXT Championship actually came in 4th place. And then Ciampa turning on Gargano was the 5th place vote. So you guys voted. Jericho going to New Japan to wrestle Omega was the shocking moment of the year. And finally, the biggest one to vote on, which, again, I didn't think it was going to be this resounding with all the fucking choices I have here. Match of the year. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Ember Moon versus Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at TakeOver Chicago. DIY versus The Revival versus the Authors of Pain, NXT TakeOver Chicago. Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura at TakeOver San Antonio. That was a great match, by the way. I actually enjoyed that match more than I did their Orlando match. AJ Styles versus John Cena at the Royal Rumble. The men's Elimination Chamber match. And you're probably wondering how many of these matches ended up on my top 10. You'll see. DeMac versus Johnny Mundo on Lucha Underground TV in an all-night-long match. If you have not gone and watched that match, I urge you to find it somehow. It is fucking amazing. Killshot versus Marty the Moth Martinez in a Weapons of Mass Destruction match from Lucha Underground. With Dante Fox and Killshot and what they did later on in the year at Ultimate Lucha, should have put that on the list, but something about this match was just fucking unbelievable, man. It reminded me of old school ECW. Again, one of those matches you just got to go out and find, and you'll know why I put it on the list. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 11. Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman at SummerSlam in a Fatal 4-Way. And Alistair Black versus the Velveteen Dream at Takeover Wargames. And one match out of all those blew all the others away with 40% of the votes. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at Takeover Chicago wins match of the year. Second place was Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Let's try saying that fucking 10 times fast. At Wrestle Kingdom 11, 18% of the votes. And a tie for third place between DIY, The Revival, and Authors of Pain in that ladder match at TakeOver Chicago. Tied with Cena versus Styles at the Royal Rumble. And then following that was Lesnar versus Styles at Survivor Series. I thought that would have been high on the list, man, higher on the list. But I can't disagree with you guys. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate is my number one match of the year as well. You know, and you'll see that. And I'll go over that again here on my top 10 for 2017. But that is the list, man. That is the off the script, first ever annual Viewer's Choice. I want to thank all 1,500 of you who took part in the list, in the survey. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Now, as far as my top 10, I got it right here on my notes. I'm going to start with number 10, man. Match of the year, number 10 on my list. The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins from May 1st, 2017, the main event of Monday Night Raw. A lot of people did not put this on their list, and I was wondering why. Now, there were other choices I was thinking about putting on there. Okay? The DIY, Revival, Authors of Pain ladder match. The only reason why I didn't put that in at number 10 over this match is because I already have too many NXT matches on my list already. I didn't want to make it a top 10 NXT list. You know, even though WWE, NXT, they're all fucking the same thing. But I was even thinking about putting Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble on this list at number 10. Didn't do that either, you know. But I chose this match because A, was a great match. B, was the best main event on Monday Night Raw all year. I don't give a shit what else happened on Monday Night Raw. How many rings broke, how many fucking times Kane pulls someone through the ring into the depths of hell. No. I don't want to hear none of that garbage. You know, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns had a great match on Monday Night Raw in a main event. But this one was great because at the time I thought they were going to really take the Intercontinental Championship and make it something important on Monday Night Raw in the absence of Brock Lesnar. Obviously, WWE did not do that, and they kept it on The Miz, and they just prolonged that title being dead for as long as they did, for whatever reason. You know, The Miz, people saying he's the superstar of the year. Rolling Stone puts him at superstar of the year. The Miz had a great year, but The Miz didn't have a year better than he did in 2016. I don't understand people's logic behind The Miz having a better year this year than he did 2016. How could you compare what he did this year to last year? SmackDown was at the height of its prominence, and The Miz was the reason for that. The Intercontinental Championship was the reason for that. His matches with Dolph Ziggler and the story that those two guys told through the last quarter of that year were the reason for that. His promo, work was the reason for that. Why would you choose The Miz this year over The Miz last year? I don't understand anybody. The Miz was more valuable to SmackDown than he was to Monday Night Raw. He was more valuable to the Intercontinental Championship than he was to the Intercontinental Championship this year. And I was hoping that, honestly, it would be taken off a heel and given to a babyface in Finn Balor. Finn Balor would have been the prototypical perfect Intercontinental Champion because he had opponents lined up for him. The Miz, Samoa Joe, Elias, Bray Wyatt, Jeff Hardy, if he wasn't hurt, Seth Rollins. The list goes on and on. When you put the title and keep the title on The Miz, you limit the amount of opponents for that title. The Miz did nothing with it. And then the WWE just took it off The Miz and put it on Roman Reigns to fulfill their own agenda. But this match showcased what the Intercontinental title should have been in 2017. And WWE, as always, dropped the ball. Number 9. Out of all the lists I heard and all the lists I seen, this one was not on the list, and I don't know why. But you're going to go back and watch it, and you're going to say to yourself, fuck. Now I see why JD put this on the list. Johnny Gargano versus Andrade Cien Almas at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. You want to know why? It's because A, it's NXT. B, it was the best opening match to any show all year. C, it's Johnny Gargano. And D, that crowd was legitimately molten lava hot for everything those guys did. If that was a main event, that match was so good. That match was so good. It could have main evented any fucking show that WWE put on all year. And it showcased how good Johnny Gargano is, and it showcased how great Andrade Cien Almas was going to be with the inclusion of Zelina Vega. They put on such a great match that I could not sit here and not put it on the list. That was the best opening match for TakeOver all year. That was the best opening match for any WWE show all year. And those two guys have a ceiling that, I swear to God, man, has unlimited heights. Andrade with Zelina, fantastic. Resurrected his WWE career. His English isn't good, but that's why she's there. Johnny Gargano, if they don't give this guy the NXT Championship, WWE is doing something wrong. Seriously. There's no reason why that match should not be on anybody's list. Absolutely fantastic. Undisputed Era versus Sanity versus the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong TakeOver Wargames in WWE's first ever Wargames match. Number 8. This had to be on the list. I didn't know where to put it, but I put it at number 8. Because there was other matches I enjoyed more than that. Didn't say I didn't enjoy it. It was fantastic. It was just something that just got bumped down the list for other matches that I thought were better. You know? WWE brought this match back. Everybody wanted it to be a main roster staple. Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn didn't want it. I don't know why. For years, everybody's been clamoring for Wargames to be the reason why WWE has Survivor Series, and it just fits seamlessly like a glove. Wargames Survivor Series, right? Raw vs. SmackDown. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know why. So obviously Triple H, in his old school mentality, he was gifted Wargames, and the essence of what Wargames was to WCW in the old school was there. They didn't change anything. He needed the 2 rings and the double cage. They did that. Vince McMahon wanted it to change slightly. Vince McMahon did not want a roof on the cage for whatever reason, you know? Or Triple H wanted a roof, I think, on the cage. And Vince McMahon said, no, I don't want a roof. So there was some arguing back and forth. People were upset that there wasn't a roof on the cage. So Triple H, or Vince McMahon wanted a roof and Triple H didn't want a roof. One or the other. There was arguing and bickering over the fucking roof of this thing. So the logic behind the roof was, well, you know, you weren't going to see Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and Dusty Rhodes fucking do somersault planches off the top of the cage, you know? You weren't going to see Sid Justice do superplexes off the top of the cage. So there was a reason why there was a ceiling or a roof on the cage back in the old days. You know, when you got guys like Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, and you guys got, you know, Eric Young and guys like that who are of the new school, clearly it opens up more of the match to lending itself to the new school. So I really didn't care about that. As long as we got the double cage and the double ring, that's all we cared about. You know, WWE fancied it up with their fucking shark cages because they got to get their shark cage toys, you know, out in the open. You know, go buy them at Kmart, whatever. Instead of doing the coin flip and, you know, the buzzer and the countdown. But WWE made it great. And it was an homage to Dusty, and it was an homage to the old school, and Triple H made it to the point where we could very well see this as being a staple in WWE. It could be an NXT staple every November, which I don't mind. You just got to get the right people in there to make the match what it is, you know? Luckily, WWE this year had Undisputed Era come in at the right time. Sanity has been great. Authors of Pain have been, dominant, and you include Roderick Strong, who's been in there feuding with, Undisputed Era. It just made for a great match, and it came in at number 8 on my list. Number 7, the Usos versus the New Day inside Hell in a Cell. Out of all the matches that they had this year, every fucking one of them was great, but this one is the one I chose because for years, WWE has neglected the Hell in a Cell. For years, WWE has neglected the Hell in a Cell, and they've ruined the concept by either putting on too many matches on one card that feature Hell in a Cell, or putting feuds inside the cell that really don't need it, not utilizing the cell to its proper advantages, the lack of blood, the lack of weaponry, the lack of intensity, the lack of fucking feuds. Putting Sasha Banks and Charlotte inside Hell in a Cell, which still I can't stand. WWE finally got it right with the Usos and the New Day. There was lava boiling over for the tag team championships. These teams traded the titles back and forth. The story was, who is the best? What will you do to attain that status of being the best? You put them inside Hell in a Cell. It got so good. The grudge was there. The intensity was there that it actually called for Hell in a Cell. And normally in these types of matches, we see things that have already been done in previous years. These guys did shit that I've never seen inside Hell in a Cell. And I can appreciate that, and that's why it deserves to be on the list. There was one point in the match where I think the New Day trapped one of the Usos in between the holes of the cell with kendo sticks, like kind of jailing him in while beating the shit out of him, Xavier Woods was almost crucified in a way on the steel post, handcuffed with his hands behind his back as if he was nailed to the cross. The brutality in this match shown on all ends, How could you watch this match and not say, damn, this is one of the best matches of the year? I knew it then and I know it now. The New Day and the Usos, all over SmackDown Live, held that brand together with this feud. And this was the perfect end to what was told, story-wise, on SmackDown Live. If you have not seen that match, go out and watch that Hell in a Cell match. It was the first thing that opened that show, and it was one of the best damn matches all year. No question. John Cena versus AJ Styles versus Bray Wyatt versus Baron Corbin versus The Miz versus Dean Ambrose in the men's Elimination Chamber match comes in at number 6 on my top 10. This match was fantastic. This was one of the best cell matches I have seen in years. They redid the cell. They made it look more modern. They added more lighting or new lighting. They added, a different way to kind of decipher who is coming in next. They added, this is where a lot of people were kind of turned off by the match, and I don't know why, because it didn't take away anything from the match at all. They added padding to where it used to be open sets of steel. Why that would turn people off, I don't know. Why would that turn anybody off? I mean, A, it didn't take away from the match at all. B, it actually gives more opportunity for the guys to do high spots and brutal spots more so than if there was no padding. And C, you're actually protecting the wrestlers and the superstars' longevity in the long run. So I don't know why people thought that adding padding to the new cell was going to be an eyesore or take away from the overall demonic structure that it is. It did not. And this match was climaxed by Bray Wyatt pinning both John Cena and AJ Styles to win the WWE Championship. When it came down to AJ Styles and Bray Wyatt in this match, people were going crazy for Bray Wyatt to win. There was once upon a time where Bray Wyatt was over. There was once upon a time where Bray Wyatt was looked upon as We want this guy in this spot. We don't want anyone else. And that was his time. That was his time. People legitimately marked the fuck out. Not because Bray Wyatt won, but he was finally achieving the success that we all wanted him to. It finally happened. Not because he pinned Styles and Cena in the same match, but he won the WWE Championship, finally. He was at the top of the mountain. This match was supposed to set up Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin for the IC title. That got underway nicely, but that feud was pretty much demoted to the pre-show on WrestleMania, and it did nothing for anybody. It was a waste of everybody's time. The Miz ended up working with John Cena in that mixed tag match at WrestleMania. Nobody gave a shit. Bray Wyatt was in one of the most intriguing storylines all year with the WWE Championship win. Randy Orton was in the Wyatt family. Luke Harper, he didn't trust Randy. Bray Wyatt was just happy to have Randy by his side. He was trying to make it seem as if Luke was fucking going crazy. Just listen to me. We're in good hands. We got Randy. This is the strongest the Wyatt family's ever been. But, deep down, Randy Orton was calculating a plan to take the WWE Championship from Bray Wyatt and just burn the Wyatt family down to the ground. And that's exactly what he did. Literally, he burned the Wyatt family compound down to the ground. But Bray Wyatt, going into WrestleMania with the WWE Championship, was featured in one of the worst matches on the card. They absolutely killed that feud. They killed all his momentum. And they gave it to Randy Orton, only to drop it to Jinder Mahal. Instead of keeping it on Bray Wyatt should have been, never moved to Monday Night Raw, should have been the WWE Champion all year, and he's the one who should have dropped the title to AJ Styles after 7 months of a title reign, not Jinder Mahal. WWE fucked up with their planning right in February, and we all seen what they should have did by the end of the year. Bray Wyatt should have never been moved to Raw, and he should have never been taken for granted as the WWE Champion. He should have held that belt all year, and it should have been him and Styles battling it out over the title instead of Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton for 4 pay-per-views in a row. Ridiculous. Match was fantastic. It's got to be on everybody's top 10. It comes in on mine at number 6. The next match on my list is something that I haven't heard from anybody else that I listened to, and I was genuinely shocked how this did not make people's top 10s. The reason why I hate the idea of a women's Royal Rumble is not because I don't want to see a women's Royal Rumble. It's because this idea of equality and this idea that women can do everything the men can is fine. But WWE takes this idea and this perception and this concept, and they drive it into your throat so much that you have no choice but to regurgitate it right back up. The reason why I don't like a women's Royal Rumble is because of the way WWE is handling it. First this, first that. They're going to have their first and everything that comes their way. Whatever, right? And then WWE pretty much mocks, disrespectfully using a yes chant for the idea and the announcement of a Royal Rumble for the women. This political reason that's behind it, I can't get behind a concept like that. You know, you're trying to make a revolution. You're trying to make a revolution, right? You're forcing the revolution. You're not making anything. And WWE seems to think that all these ideas and concepts and firsts is what's going to enhance the women's division. And it's not. You see, there was already a revolution before Stephanie McMahon put her voice and put her claws into it. You know? There was already a revolution. Whatever you're watching on Monday Night Raw with this announcement of the Royal Rumble, with this perception that Sasha and Charlotte were the best thing all year when they were trading the title back and forth, Hell in a Cell and Last Man Standing and all this other fucking garbage. If you want to believe that WWE is using that and using it to the best of their ability to build this division, you're a fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Whatever you're seeing on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live is actually harming the division. Everything that you see in NXT is the way the women's revolution should have been built. Organically. You put women out there who can wrestle, and they will show you that they do it better than the men. That's why my number 5 is Ember Moon versus Asuka at TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I want you guys to go back and watch that match. I really do. There's a reason why I ranked it right in the middle of everything. Because it was that damn good. This revolution shit, or evolution, whatever the fuck they're calling it, dead it. Your real revolution is happening in NXT. And it's not coming off as forced. It's not coming off as, hey, look at me. No, you're going to put talented women in the ring, and you're going to give them equal amount of time as you do the men, and then you're going to watch them do what they need to do. Ember Moon doesn't need a revolution. Asuka doesn't need a revolution. Bianca Belair, who I am incredibly high on, is not going to need a revolution. Kairi Sane is not going to need a revolution. Okay? Shayna Baszler, no matter how green she is, isn't going to need a revolution. Then you're bringing in Tessa Blanchard. Then I'm hearing WWE signing Candice LeRae. Do you need to force these women down our throats for us to know how good they are? No. You don't. It's the one thing I didn't like about the Mae Young Classic either. I don't give a shit how many times you say, oh my God, this is history in the making. I don't give a fuck about any of that. Put talented women in the ring and show me they can wrestle. If they can, fantastic. If not, move on. Let me find somebody else to sit here and watch. Ember Moon versus Asuka was the definition of what a revolution in WWE is. It was beautiful. Ember Moon finally, at the end of her rope, beats... Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Wargames, where she won the title. You know, at the end of her rope, you know, this is her last stake at the title. She couldn't do it. Asuka was there, and she kicked out of the Eclipse. She kicked out of Ember Moon's finishing move that nobody else has kicked out of. You know? And Asuka putting Ember Moon over in the way that she did, you know, came within an eyelash of beating Asuka, you know? And it was just unbelievable, you know? And the reason why I chose this match to be number 5, and the reason why I like this match, you know, more so than any other women's match in the year, is because not only was there a story behind it, not only was there drive and passion behind it, but you also had the aura of Asuka's undefeated streak. And you had that long title reign. Was it going to be the end? Was it the right time to end it? No, it was not. I knew Asuka was going into that match winning. There was no reason for her to lose that title at all. She was the very best at what she did. No matter how good Ember Moon was in that match, you know? I thought Ember Moon was actually being called up after that match. The way they sent her off. I didn't think Asuka was going to be called up as soon as that match was over. Then she ended up relinquishing the title, and then we got Ember Moon, the champion. Now, current day, where she won it at Wargames in a fatal 4-way. You know? With Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce and who else was in that match? Kairi Sane. You know? This match is the definition of what women's wrestling should be. Women's wrestling should not be forced agenda, shouldn't be force. Stephanie McMahon comes out and explains how historic it is. No, you don't need that. You put two women like this in the ring and you give them a title to fight over, that's a revolution. That match was better than every match on that show. Ember Moon versus Asuka, number 5. Number 4, I really don't want to talk about too much because, it is what it is. I can't oversee the fact that it was great. Some people might not like that it's this high in the list, but it was the best match of the matches that they did have. I did not like the outcome, but it served to be a 4.5 plus match, 4.5 star plus match for WWE right out of the gate in January. AJ Styles versus John Cena at the Royal Rumble. John Cena won the title. I would have liked AJ Styles to walk into WrestleMania that year as the WWE champion, but, WWE wanted to do one for John Cena. Win the title, drop it to Bray Wyatt, and then we'll give you the Miz at WrestleMania. It wasn't supposed to be that way, It was supposed to be John Cena versus The Undertaker. WWE didn't give John Cena The Undertaker, so they gave him the WWE Championship instead. They gave Roman Reigns The Undertaker. John Cena won the title, so they're like, okay, what do we do here? We got this Wyatt family storyline. The title will look good on Bray Wyatt as we get ready for this storyline, so they dropped it to Bray Wyatt. Or John Cena dropped it to Bray Wyatt, rather. And then John Cena was stuck with The Miz, proposing to Nikki Bella. The Miz was supposed to have Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura was supposed to be the Intercontinental Champion. Imagine how things would have turned out if that was the case this year. Or last year, rather, in 2017. But this match was easily the best match on the entire Royal Rumble show. It literally stole the show. Styles and Cena work very well together. I've always been the one to say that Cena really isn't a ring general. He's very stiff in the ring, and I don't mean stiff as meaning hard-hitting. I mean John Cena just looks like a fucking cardboard cutout in that ring. He doesn't bend. He doesn't move. He's not mobile. Cena is a great performer. Don't get me wrong. But Cena is even better when he's got someone like AJ Styles working with him. That could go for anybody. I mean, you could put AJ Styles in there with a fucking pillow when he bring it to a 5-star match. It doesn't really matter who he's in there with. But the fact that John Cena was able to hang with AJ Styles the way that he did, it was very commendable. And I don't hate John Cena. I don't. People thought, a little while ago when I was talking about The Undertaker and him wanting John Cena at WrestleMania and vice versa, and the fact that I don't want to see it, people thought I was disrespecting John Cena and The Undertaker. Now, I'm not disrespecting anybody. They're old. And John Cena, I don't want to see him in there with a battered veteran. That's what The Undertaker is, a battered veteran. Undertaker's got a bad hip, 2 bad hips. I don't want to see him moving around the ring. How good of a match is it going to be with John Cena if The Undertaker can't lead? If he can't move? I don't want to see that. I'd rather not see it at all. John Cena was able to have a great match because of who he was in the ring with. And this one proved to be the best of the matches that they had, of the 2 matches that they had previous. The one at SummerSlam and the one at Money in the Bank. So it was great. And it should be on everybody's top 10 because not only was it Cena's best match of the year, it was a match that pretty much set the tone for WrestleMania season. Not that it was any good, but it might have been AJ Styles' best match this year, to be quite honest with you. That could be, that's argumentative. But to me, it wasn't AJ Styles' best match this year. And the one coming up in the list was certainly his best match of the year. And again, it goes to prove how AJ Styles can work with anybody. Moving on here, number 3, Alistair Black versus the Velveteen Dream at NXT TakeOver Wargames. There's not much I can say about this, man. There was no titles on the line. This one was built up with the simplicity of the Velveteen Dream wanting recognition. Wow, imagine that. A storyline that is so simple, based on the fact that someone wanted to be recognized by somebody who was higher up on the card. What a concept. And it worked. Everything that they did was picture perfect for this feud. 2 completely polar opposites. Black, silent, quiet, like fucking Assassin's Creed. Okay? Velveteen Dream, loud, boisterous, flamboyant. It worked. This is the odd couple if I've ever seen one. And it worked. And the match was fantastic. The match might have been the best thing on Wargames card. Velveteen Dream, I mentioned this earlier, when we were doing the Viewers' Choice Awards. The guy lives his gimmick, and it works. You know, just look at what Matt Hardy's doing with the Woken gimmick. He's that everywhere he goes. And that's the reason why it works. Same thing with Velveteen Dream. And he's 23 years old. The ceiling for this guy is absolutely fucking at heights that I can't even fathom. He's that good, you know? And if WWE plays their cards right, they got a blue chipper in Patrick Clark. And I'm gonna sit here and tell you that I was completely against Patrick Clark. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. I hated it. I downright hated it. I thought this guy was awful. All of a sudden, he comes out with theme music, and he's got this new look. You know, he's doing the thing. He's puckering the lips. This guy's living the fucking dream over here. And all of a sudden, you mix him in with Alistair Black, and you tease it. He wants to say his name, or he wants Alistair to say his name. Alistair won't say anything because he hasn't said anything to anybody. Even during this feud, we got Alistair Black to speak for the first time, and it was fucking great. They held off hitting the black mass. They teased it, but they never gave it away. You know? Velveteen Dream was getting into Alistair Black's head. 1 week stealing his jacket. 1 week sneaking up behind him during his entrance. It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And it was built on nothing but recognition. WWE would take notes. That's how you do a storyline. Simple as that. Match was even better. Velveteen Dream got himself over and was a made man because of this feud and that match. Velveteen Dream was actually a babyface for the majority of that match. People were chanting for Dream. They were actually booing Alistair Black. If that match is not in your top 10, you're doing something fucking wrong with your life, man. Seriously, go back and watch it. Every one of these matches, go back and watch. You'll know why it's in the top 10. Closing in on the top 2 here. Number 2. Told you AJ Styles can work with anybody. And that includes beasts. AJ Styles vs. Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. The number 2 match on my list for top matches of 2016. I mean, there's nothing for me to say here, man. We were going to get Jinder Mahal versus fucking Brock Lesnar at the Survivor Series. Do you now know why WWE changed their minds? It's because AJ Styles is the best in the world. Jinder Mahal was never going to bring Brock Lesnar to a match like that. And this match was the way it should have been. It wasn't a 5-minute squash suplex fest that Brock Lesnar is known for doing. It wasn't, a complete savage beatdown by Brock Lesnar. In the beginning it was, but AJ Styles mounted a comeback, and Brock Lesnar made AJ look good. Brock Lesnar actually ate and made the offensive AJ Styles look believable. It's amazing what Brock Lesnar can do when he wants to work with somebody, you know? Instead of putting him in there with a Braun Strowman where the match was fucking 5 minutes and it went nowhere, all this hype and it went nowhere, right? Could have did a little bit more with Samoa Joe. You could have brought the same style match with AJ Styles, with Samoa Joe. I don't understand that. So WWE dropped the ball there. But when you got someone like this, it's hard not to have a good match. I said going into this that they need to take the blueprint of what Lesnar did with Punk at SummerSlam many, many years ago and apply it to this match. And that's exactly what they did. The near falls were believable. Brock Lesnar getting out of the calf crusher was fucking fantastic. Only way to get out of the calf crusher, just pounce on the guy's head. Just beat his brains in, Lesnar did just that. Lesnar took phenomenal forearms. Lesnar, was in every sense of the word making AJ Styles look like a superstar, even though he didn't need it. This match was fantastic. Easily the best thing on Survivor Series card. No titles were on the line. It opened itself up to being, one of the best things that WWE did all year in a last-ditch effort to make this Survivor Series card what it needed to be. Overall, the card was great on paper, but underwhelming when watching it live. This one was the best decision that Vince McMahon made all year to change Mahal to AJ Styles, and it paid. And if anybody is thinking we're not going to get a rematch out of that, you're crazy. That match is money. If Brock Lesnar is, and I'm thinking if he does re-up and re-sign with WWE, get him away from Monday Night Raw and put him on SmackDown Live. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar with the title on the line? Come on, man, that's a money match. Rematch was built from this one match alone at Survivor Series. You don't think nobody wants to see a rematch after that? I think everybody does. AJ versus Brock Lesnar was absolutely phenomenal and exactly what it needed to be. Number 2 on the list for my top 10 matches of 2017. And to wrap things up and get the hell out of here, you guys know what my number 1 is. Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, NXT TakeOver Chicago. I'm not even going to go into what made the match special. I want you guys, if you have not watched it, go and watch this match and listen to the Chicago crowd. If these guys are musicians, if wrestling is an art, this is all I'm going to say. If wrestling is an art, okay? These guys were fucking Metallica in their prime during Master of Puppets, and everyone in the audience is fucking jaw-dropped, just no eyes anywhere else but what they're doing. They're watching James Hetfield fucking down pick, and they're watching Kurt Hammett cut a fucking beautiful solo, man. That's what they're doing. They did not have their attention go anywhere else but what Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne were doing. This match was absolutely a fucking classic. And this was only the second match of their trilogy that ended up being a trilogy this year. Some are saying the match that happened on NXT TV a couple of weeks ago was better than this one. I'm not going to say so because the NXT Full Sail crowd just kind of fucking kills everything for me, when they want to. This Chicago crowd was absolutely brilliant. Plus, you had Nigel McGuinness and Jim Ross actually come alive during this match. Jim Ross came alive during this match. Nigel McGuinness called this match, as he's doing now in NXT. But, he was there with the UK Classic, the UK tournament, Their match in the UK tournament was great. Then they won up that one with this one. And then they end the year with a trilogy. These guys are unbelievable. And the fact that, Vince McMahon loves this WWE with monsters like Kane and Big Show and Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, and, Vince McMahon loves his muscly bound oil up freaks, right? These guys are doing what Daniel Bryan and CM Punk did now that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are no longer there. CM Punk and Daniel Bryan opened the doorway for the smaller wrestler to walk on into the WWE. If this isn't any indication of what WWE needs to do and what direction they need to go, then they got to open their fucking eyes. Seriously. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne are two of the very best that this company has employed. And this one match, shows you exactly what WWE needs to do and needs to focus on. Fuck this all this extra bullshit. This is what they need to focus on. Every one of these matches has one thing in common. It all came down to the wrestling. That's what we're here to see. And if anybody watched Wrestle Kingdom 12, that's what we want to see. Nobody was talking about storylines. Nobody was talking about this and that. How many people are genuinely here in the States watching New Japan for the storylines? No. If people are watching New Japan from the States, you're watching it because you want wrestling. You want something that you're not getting on Mondays and Tuesdays. So why isn't WWE going in the direction that the wrestling industry is going? Every one of these matches is a must-see. Every one of them. So go back and watch. Let me know what you guys think. And that's my top 10 for 2017. Thank you guys so much. And I'll be back tomorrow with more Off the Script for part number 2. We'll have Harry's Razors on tomorrow. I got some nice free shit for you guys for Harry's. So look forward to that. They're on board starting tomorrow. And I appreciate all the support. Not feeling the best right now. And I really don't want to get into it. There's a few people close to me in my inner circle that know. But I will say this, man. I'm here to deliver the best content that I can. If I'm not here, that means that I need to seriously take some time away. Okay? I don't want to neglect anybody. I don't want to slight anybody. But when I'm not feeling right, I just find it a very difficult time for me to escape and sit in front of this microphone and give you guys, the real video. So I never want to not give 100%. And I hope this video came out good. I think it came out good. But right now, I don't know what's going on. And I'm just going to leave it at that, man. I'm just going to leave it at that. So this is Off the Script 203, part number 1. I'll be back tomorrow, mid-afternoon, for part number 2. And this is JD signing off, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Stay warm. It's going to be negative degrees in New York City and on the East Coast. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.